Hey guys, King of Charmander's here. Finally, the Great League Remix, which is actually supposed to be published. It was actually supposed to be published at like March 15th or whatever, but anyways, it's finally out. So the list is very similar to what I expected it to be, but not really. Somehow Talonflame and Cantonian, somehow Achu and Talonflame made it into the top 10 being banned, which I'm not really surprised because community, etc., but like, it's kind of weird. Anyways, PvPoke.com finally released their rankings, so let's go take a look at the rankings and I'll do a deep dive on each and every Pokemon up until Great League Remix releases next week. Alright, so here are the Great League Remix rankings. They're finally out. Once top teams are released, etc., I'll go ahead and put it out here and I'll do an analysis video. But as you see here, for some odd reason, somehow Medicham XL did not make it, or just Medicham in general, didn't make it into the top 10. Because of that, it's going to basically stay as the most powerful Pokemon overall in Great League, just because it's so freaking strong. So, Bastiodon sadly didn't make it as well. If you guys thought this was going to be the Charm Cup, Bastiodon single-handedly makes it to where the Charm Cup isn't, or the Dragon Breath Cup isn't really going to be around. Strangely, how, I don't know how, don't ask me, I don't know where they came up with this, but somehow Bastiodon wasn't on there, I don't know. And as you see here, Registeel going Registeel, Deoxys defense somehow, despite the fact that the 30-second timer kind of altered the meta for a week, somehow Deoxys defense wasn't banned either. And Altaria. So Altaria is the strongest dragon-type attacker. Of course, it's also very bulky, but Altaria pretty much deletes almost every Pokemon here except Bastiodon and Registeel. So what was kind of be expected is that Galarian Stunfisk was banned, and yeah, Galarian Stunfisk was banned, Umbreon was banned, etc. Anyways, that's overall rankings. As you see, there are still some really powerful meta picks, so the Great League Remix didn't really change anything. As far as the leads go, from first look, Medicham XL, of course it's Medicham freaking XL, and unfortunately, Charmers. So because Bastiodon is out, because Bastiodon, like, I'm so sorry, but as you see here, Gardevoir, Shadow, as well as Wigglytuff are in the top leads for good reason, and so is Alola Ninetales. Well, you can actually use Charmtails in those, but for good reason. With Bastiodon allowed in this cup, Dragon Breath users are essentially taken out of the game. So is Charmers, however, because of Dragon Breath users being gone, guess what does the most damage now that Dragon Breath isn't really out there? Charmers! So, as you see here, this is the almighty Charm Cup. Your top 5 being either Medicham, Deoxys defense, Charmers, and like I did on my pre-analysis, if everything were banned, fighters are going to take rise. Well, fighters and Charmers were just going to be powerful in general, as I predicted before. Your best save switches are going to be Vigoroth. Vigoroth is an incredibly powerful save switch for good reason. Body Slam does a ton of damage, and it does pretty well against a lot of things. As you see here, it is the #1 switch. Bulldoze is able to take out Registeel. It's also able to... Bulldoze also effectively just mashes through Bastiodon along with all the counter damage. So as you see here, because it beats a lot of the ballers, and it's just really freaking strong, and it just counters OP, that's why it's so powerful. As you see here, it does have losses against several things, but Vigoroth is an incredibly powerful switch. Cresselia, Deoxys defense, and Mew. Well, that was also on my analysis. The Psychic type, without Steel types, even though Bastion is out here, there's still great, like, Psychic type Pokemon like Mew and Deoxys defense. That's why, and technically Medicham's also Psychic type as well, but it's also, like, yeah, it's more of a fighter than a Psychic type user. Anyways, the reason why is because they're able to, because you essentially pivot away from damage, that's why Cresselia, Deoxys defense, and Mew are so powerful. Lots of damage, great moveset. Basically, it's just great movesets. Great movesets, great stats. And your closers are going to be Electivire Shadow. Remember, if you watched my analysis for the Great League Remix when I did a pre before, we predicted Electivire Shadow was going to be a beast, and this is not really a surprise. However, Registeel, because G-Fisk is gone, Registeel comes back as the most powerful Steel Force in the game. Of course, it loses to Politoed, Toxicroak, Sableye, Meganium, etc., and Mandibuzz. But yeah, I already knew it was gonna happen, but you knew it was gonna happen. But yeah, would Registeel be? I wasn't surprised, but with Registeel, yeah. Now that Bastiodon's out here, basically that's why Registeel amounts to where it is right now. And I think what's crazy is that none of the Weather Ballers, especially Alolan Ninetales, was banned, which is just crazy in my opinion. Considering, like I said though, 30-second timer kind of made a lot of things a lot. Like I really want to see how they computed it because I really don't believe it myself. But these are the rankings again. I'll be doing an analysis on them, so I'll be doing analysis for individual mons and why they're super powerful, and my top teams. So look out for that short. Again, here's the top 10 banned. I'll be doing a more in-depth analysis. I'll be making top teams, and then I'll be putting out here early for the Great League Remix. But as you see here, some of these are really weird. Like Galvantula over Pelipper and A9? Are you kidding? I honestly don't. So, I think this list, where they computed the data, was actually at the end of Great League before they did the whole, like, 30-second switch timer. So, I think this is data before the 30-second switch timer. Because if you added the Weather Ballers, I expected to see A9 or at least Pelipper on this list. Again, it looks like they weren't accounted for on this list. It looks like the cutoff for the Great League Remix was actually before the 30-second switch timer. So, in other words, when Great League, when that seems to be when the cutoff was, because as you see here, had that factored in the 30-second timer event, a lot of Poké, this would be very different. Also, I'm not surprised. Talonflame probably squeezed in here just because of all the people wanting to try out their Talonflame for Great League. So, not really the... well, it was in some of the really good trainers were using it, but a lot of players that were probably just using it for fun probably shot in Talonflame. So literally that 1 week that Talonflame was out for Community Day shifted it to being banned for the Great League Remix. Anyways, again, I'll be putting out top team content over here, but basically this is the Charm Cup. Yeah, the Charm Cup. Yay, Charm! If you love the Love Cup, you're gonna love this cup too. I'll be doing videos on top teams and analysis for individual Pokemon. Look out for that. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys. Good luck on your Go Battle, and I will see you guys on the next video.